Our next mover and shaker is Treasurer Peter Costello, who claims dirty lefty teachers and lecturers are indoctrinating students with anti-American propaganda in Australian classrooms, putting ideas into the heads of innocent children. Who do these teachers think they are? Teachers? Turns out in Iraq and Afghanistan, anti-US sentiment is even more pronounced. Must be the teachers over there. Costello said many youngsters were ignorant of the US role in World War II. But that's not true. We know exactly what they did. They came over here and stole our women. If you don't believe me, ask your nana. Hey, Pete, you know how you can make teachers more pro-government? Pay them. Julia, you walk the political beat. Are the Liberals drunk with power?
Drunk with something. Look, I think this anti-American stuff is kind of crazy. Australians can differentiate between Americans, that or American culture, and what Bush is doing in Iraq. And all of the evidence shows that. The fact that he's blaming it on a bunch of teachers is crazy.
But I was taught that America helped in World War II.
Yeah, I was
absolutely. I listened. And that was fine. I mean, if they change, of course that's being taught, isn't it? Surely. When was Peter Costello last at school? 40 years ago. But he was at school before the Second World War, basically. I mean, what is he on about?
I also love this idea that somehow we hate America rather than just being like, everyone's like, oh yes, we hate America and everything they stand for. Now let's continue this discussion down at Starbucks.
We basically are a state of America.
Yeah. We seem to have got more worked up about it since the war. Well, not we, the politicians have got more worked up about it since the war in Iraq and since we signed the free trade agreement as well. Mark Latham came up and said that he didn't agree with what Bush was doing, and all of a sudden, oh, you're going to cause people to fall off their wagons and America will hate us. And no, they won't. America couldn't give a shit about what we do. I know most of them think we're Austria, for crying out loud.
No, they're just like, thanks for Arnie, see you tomorrow.
Would you care if you read in the newspaper that a few school children didn't like Americans? Would you care?
No, because I come across people that, it's wild travel and all this, they're like, oh, you hear the political stuff and it's like, I'm not going there.
Yeah.
I am an American, but it doesn't mean I agree or disagree. It's not something you're going to get into. But people are like, oh, we just don't like Americans.
Part of the reason why people can say that is because people like to be racist, and it's like you're allowed to be racist against America.
Oh, I see, yeah. I am the American race.
If it makes you feel any better, we hated the English before that, and we've always hated the New Zealanders. So we mix and match a bit.
But that's what this survey that they're talking about, the anti-American one, showed, that 90%, they ranked our kind of most warm and cuddly country that we like, as opposed to the States, got 19%.
We like New Zealand now. That pisses me off. I'm sick of New Zealand with their, we don't have nuclear weapons. Oh, we didn't send troops to Iraq. We didn't send troops to Iraq. Yeah, they really missed the New Zealand army. One guy with a rake. But you went to school both in America and Australia, didn't you? Did you find there was a major difference in the way you were taught?
Patriotism was a big part of the day. I mean, you pledge allegiance every day, you sing the Star-Spangled Banner, you have your hand on your heart. I remember feeling it was really cool to be part of America. We were kind of top of the world. And I think that is, and there was a real confidence with that. And I noticed that when I went back recently. You feel like a lot of students at uni feel like they can talk about Korea, they can talk about Iraq and world affairs, and we tend to go, oh, I can talk about Australia's involvement in Korea over a one-year period. We kind of narrow things.
Yeah, Australia seems to identify itself by how we're linked to people. There was an article in the newspaper today, this big, that all it said was David Hicks has been mentioned in the New Yorker. Yay, they know who we are.
Imagine if their news was the same. If their news was full of the times America was mentioned in Australia, like Mark was on the Glass House.
The whole point is you've got to teach kids to be suspicious and to question power and authority and government anywhere you are. I mean, remember when Britney Spears was like, I just think we should trust our president in whatever he does because he's good. That is like the opposite to what you should teach children.
I don't know if she knows her ass from a hole in the wall, though. So I mean, it's
And maybe that's how she got pregnant.
Very good point there.